Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chained Opinion Podcast. We're diving deep into, well, you guessed it, the 2025 trade war. It's a topic that honestly changes by the day, so we'll break down the biggest developments.
It feels like every time you blink, there's another headline, right? Keeping up can be a full-time job in itself.
Absolutely. So let's start with North America. Trump hit pause on those tariffs for Mexico and Canada, but 30 days is all they get. It's a bit of a cliffhanger. What's your take on this pause? Was it just for show, or is there more to it?
Well, it wasn't a freebie, that's for sure. Canada's agreed to beef up security at the border, even bringing in a fentanyl czar to target smuggling. It's a pretty big statement on how seriously they're taking the whole opioid situation.
Right, and what about Mexico? They've got some skin in the game too, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're sending 10,000 National Guard troops to the northern border, trying to crack down on drug trafficking and people crossing illegally. And the U.S. on their end is supposed to be doing more to stop guns heading south.
There's a lot of moving parts all around. But here's something I didn't expect. Trump actually said these tariffs might make things pricier for Americans. Wasn't his whole thing about making life less expensive?
Yeah, it was a bit of a turn. It might mean he's finally realizing that this protectionist approach can backfire. Some experts are already saying inflation's going to jump. I mean, think about it. Tariffs make stuff from other countries cost more, and then that ripples out. Groceries, cars, pretty much everything gets a price hike. That hits regular folks right in the wallet.
And yet not everyone's panicking. The stock market's a bit jumpy, but I've seen reports about some towns near Canada who are actually happy about these tariffs. They think it'll help businesses here.
It really shows you how these policies don't affect everyone the same way. Some places might see a temporary boost, while others, especially those tied into global trade, could end up hurting. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Definitely a lot of nuances to untangle. Now, zooming out a bit, what about the European Union? They must be watching this whole thing with a lot of anxiety.
Well, yeah, they're kind of caught in the middle. You've got leaders like Poland's Prime Minister Tusk, who are pretty openly worried about the whole situation. Then you have folks like Macron of France and von der Leyen, the head of the European Commission. They're pushing for everyone to chill out a bit, but without letting the EU get taken advantage of.
So what are they most worried about?
Yeah.
And how might they retaliate if things get worse?
The EU's big on stability and predictability in trade, especially with the US. But they're also watching out for unfair practices, especially with tariffs. There's been talk about hitting back with tariffs of their own, targeting specific American products if things escalate. It's a delicate balancing act for sure.
And let's not forget the elephant in the room, right? Those 10% tariffs on Chinese goods are coming up fast. What sort of fallout are we looking at there?
That's where things get even more complicated. U.S.-China trade is massive. It's intertwined with the whole global economy. If those two giants really go at it, the whole world's going to feel the tremors. We could see supply chains get disrupted, prices skyrocket for everyone, and even a global economic slowdown.
So basically, buckle up, folks. It's going to be a rough ride. So just to sum things up, trade talks are on shaky ground. Things could get expensive real quick. And staying informed is key as this whole situation plays out.
Absolutely. And as we watch all of this unfold, it's worth pondering. What's the long game here? How will these trade wars reshape the world's economy and our relationships with other countries down the line?
Big questions indeed. Thanks for joining us today on Chained Opinion Podcast as we navigated the ups and downs of the 2025 trade war. We hope this breakdown was helpful and gave you some food for thought. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube Music and Spotify to keep up with all the latest analysis. And if you found this insightful, don't hesitate to spread the word. Let's keep the conversation going.